because we're going to get started straight away. So find yourself in a cross-legged seated position. Now, if you need cushions or anything under your hips, I do recommend you do that now. In every class that we're going to do, we're going to be seated to begin with, just like this. So every time you're about to press play, come into this position, sit however you like here. And with our hands, what we can do is have the palms up if we're wanting to really open ourselves up to the universe and receive. And if we're feeling really on edge and, unbalanced, we want to turn the palms down and rest them maybe on the knees or just the wrists on the knees. So what that does is it helps ground us. So from here, we're going to close the eyes. Inhale, a nice long spine. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Just take a few more long breaths. Softening the eyebrows and the jaw. The shoulders and the back. Letting the knees and hips and ankles just soften a little further. Drawing in some mindfulness. And how are you feeling physically right now in this moment? How is your body and muscles and joints feeling? How are you feeling mentally? In your mind, is it busy? Are there a million thoughts running through it? Just tune in. We're going to begin to move here now. So with our arms, we're always going to start with a twist. So bring the arms out wide. Inhale, reach them up high. Gaze where the hands go. Exhale, twist to your right side. Now I'm going to go to my left so you can mirror me. So I'm looking over my right shoulder and breathing here. We want to breathe into the belly. And our intention here is going to be about stress relief, reducing stress from our thoughts and our minds. Every deep breath that we pay attention to is going to automatically help this. We're going to take it back to center now. As we do, unwind, inhale, bring the arms back as we come back up, gazing to the ceiling, and then exhale to your left side this time. So the hands, there's not too much weight, we're not leaning back, keeping a nice tall posture. Our hands are just there for balance and maybe just a little extra twist, but no force here, please. Gazing over that shoulder because we're twisting from the tailbone right up to the crown of the head, known as our crown chakra. And we'll be covering these in another class. Remember, deep breath into the belly. One final big breath. Let the breath go, holding the pose still though. We inhale to unwind, reach the arms back up high, gaze up. Exhale, hands through heart center into prayer pose. You can then just gently open the eyes from here and just notice your surrounds. I've got the window open, so you're going to be hearing some birds, some cars and all sorts, but let's tune back in. So from here, we're going to rock over onto our hands and knees. Do so however is most easy for you. Once we're here, we're going to tuck the toes under, coming into cat-cow. So drop the belly button down towards the ground, lift the chest tall and gaze forwards or slightly up even. So we've breathed in here. We want to exhale, draw the belly button into the spine, tuck the chin, hold it there. Maybe give your neck a little twist, left to right. We're going to come back, then inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat pose. So push your hands into the mat like you're pushing yourself off. Inhale back to cow. Try and lengthen the breath. Follow me here. Exhale, cat. Last one. Inhale back to cow pose. This time we're going to go straight to downward dog. So toes are still tucked under. We're going to press back, lift the knees, and keep the knees bent. We're dropping the chest down here. So we're flattening the back out. From there then, feel free to pedal the legs out a little bit. You can widen your downward dog a little. Just find what suits you here. Now our gaze wants to be in between the ankles or into the distance, also known as our drishti. Draw the belly button in. We're going to find a bit of stillness here now then. So just inhale, rise onto the tippy toes. Exhale the heels back down. Inhale, gaze into the top of your mat. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So roll into a high plank. We're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist. Then bring that right foot across the mat. Then you've got space to drop that left knee down behind you. We're going to inch the leg back as we go. So untuck the left toes back behind you. We're going to stay up right here for the first part of the pose. So inhale, lift the chest. I love to come onto the fingertips, but you do you here. I'm going to get our timer. And we're going to stay here in our pigeon pose. Now if this irritates your knee by any chance, pop a cushion under your hip or a bolster or block, whatever you've got really. So closing the eyes, and you'll hear me say this a lot because I want you to tune inwards. In our yoga practice, we are coming into our bodies and our minds and our spirits. We want to just let go of distractions or thoughts that are outside of this mat and this beautiful sacred space that you're currently in. There's always going to be distractions. We just have to move through it, acknowledge and let go. And we're going to come down onto the elbows here now after our first minute there. We're going to 2 more minutes in this pigeon pose. So you're welcome to stay on the forearms. If you want to go even lower, by all means, feel free to. I want you to find your space here. So I'm going to leave you in a bit of silence to just enjoy this here. Just before I do, I want you to breathe in length through the spine. Keep it nice and long. And then exhale, just soften any muscles that don't need to be working here. Make sure that you don't roll onto that right hip either. Keep that in mind. Finding the breath to keep your mind focused. Focusing on ourselves. Softening any muscles that are feeling tight. Taking one more big breath in through the nose. Big breath out through the nose. And we're going to rise back up with the chest, back onto the hands. Tucking the toes that are behind you and just inch that foot and knee closer towards your hands. We're going to press back to downward dog from here. So toes tucked, sweep it back. And just do a little freestyle here. Maybe walking the dog, maybe holding stillness. Do what you like here. Preparing for the other side, we're going to inhale, roll to that high plank. Bring the left knee behind the left wrist as close as you can. Don't worry if it's back here. We'll work on that as we go. Bring the foot across as much as comfortable without, leveraging it. We want the body to do it naturally here, no ego. Drop that right knee down then and inch that right leg back. So from here, this is where we wanted to stay upright for the first minute of 3. Now the reason we're staying upright here is because we're opening this whole hip flexor and part of the front part of the body. So hopefully you'll feel that as well. Hips are square to the mat. It can be on your palms or your fingers, depending on your flexibility is really going to help you determine which position you want to be in. It's a beautiful day here in the Adelaide Hills. Perfect 24 degrees and mostly sunny. I should be doing this outside. It's a bit too sunny though. Can't believe I just said it's too sunny. We're coming into autumn. We are in autumn, my golly. Let it go. Drifting off, come back to the mat. This is what you're going to have in your yoga classes with me. A little bit of a chat. A little bit of fun, a bit of smile and laughter. What's life without happiness, right? All right, we're going to come onto the elbows then if you want to. If your hips, remember, if they roll off to the side, please come back, get a block or something if you need it under your hips. It's a great idea if you can. If you're very new to yoga, don't worry about the toes being pointed, but just start to flex the toes like so, and it's really going to get into that left side now. So from here, I'm actually not used to practicing on carpet, so my mat is twisting. Anyways, lowering down as low as you want to go. Keep the hips square. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, soften and surrender into the pose. Feeling the hips release their tension as we take our time here. That time has gone very quickly. We're going to come back up onto the hands. Now from here, now you can roll onto your left hip. So very gently roll on over. Sweep that right leg. You can help it if you need to. Sweep it all the way back to the front of your mat. We're going to come into butterfly pose. So soles of the feet come together. And from here, you can hold on to the legs however you like. So I like to hold on to the bottom edge of my feet with the fingers bound. Inhale, long spine. And you would have seen my knees, if you're watching me, my knees go straight down towards the mat. And that's because I naturally am so used to doing this pose, but I'm squeezing my glutes to do that. Now we're going to stay upright here. This is just a beginner's class, so not taking anything too far. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Squeezing the glutes. Maybe having a little smile on your face. Find that inner happiness. We're going to stay in this butterfly pose a little longer, but all we're going to do is tilt our head to your right side, okay? So you're going to tilt your ear towards that right shoulder. Soften the shoulders down. We'll naturally probably start to shrug a little bit. Now you're going to feel that on the right side of your neck, joining on towards the shoulder. This is our trapezius muscle. Breathing through that discomfort. We're just going to go to the left side then, just to finish off. Notice the difference. Breathing through the tension. Imagine breathing it out of your body. You'll hear me say this a lot. Last breath in, holding there, still in butterfly pose. Once you've let that breath go, we're going to turn our head back up nice and tall, so crown to the ceiling. We're going to bring the knees in together and just move the feet further away from the hips. So from here, we're going to do a spinal twist. We're going to bring our right hand behind us, fingertips if you can, but palm is okay. Left arm is then going to come across your outer edge of your right leg. So that's just putting a little bit of pressure. We want to keep the knees together. We don't want to be knocking them off to the side. So knees together, long spine, gentle pressure on the knee or outer leg. Right hand is behind us and we're looking back over that right shoulder. So fingertips or palm is totally fine. You choose where you want that right hand behind you. So breathing through that twist, closing the eyes whenever you can, whenever you want to, and you'll naturally start to do this in your own practice anyway, if you don't already. So just enjoying this twist. Acknowledge any tightness. Soften the shoulders and jaw, maybe even the eyebrows. Those are our most used tension points. We're going to unwind the body here now. So coming back to the front, we'll go straight over to the left side. Left hand comes behind us. Right arm comes across the knees. By all means, feel free to use your hand if that's more comfortable for you. And twisting around to the left. Now, try not to let ego come in here. We don't want to force the back here. Open the heart, drop the shoulders, maybe even a little bit of an elbow bend in that left hand behind us. Or you can just move it further away. You do you here. Knees are together, they're not swaying off to the side. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, let go of the tension. Check in with the entire body. Just do a little body scan from head to toe. Last big breath in. Big breath out. And we'll inhale to unwind the upper body. And we're going to come and lie on our backs. So just before you do, if you have, do a sit-up. We're going to straighten out the legs and we want our ankles to be just over the end of our mat, because what that does is sets us up ready to come down. So we'll walk our way down. Ta-da! your ankles will be on the end of your mat nicely. So, a little nifty tip for you there. Now, legs long, toes flexed towards us is going to make it easier. If you want it harder, point your toes here. Now we're going to do a bit of a roll down. So arms out in front. Imagine there's a ball of energy in between your hands and your fingers are spread out wide. Spirit fingers here. So inhale, long spine. Breath in. Exhale, recline. Keep your spine as straight as you can and pause. So maybe we're a quarter or a third of the way. If you've got a grippy mat like mine, you have to shimmy your legs down. Okay, we're going to keep moving. So you should already feel the core working here. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the back as flat as you can. Exhale a bit lower, maybe halfway or a third of the way. We're going to do one more breath. Inhale. Energy arms. Exhale. Hold it one more. You've got this. Inhale. Exhale. Come all the way down. Beautiful job. Great strength work there. So we're going to slide the feet towards the hips. Just tuck your hips under you comfortably. And we're going to hug the knees into the chest. So bringing them in. Now with the knees in the chest, we're going to rotate the knees in a clockwise direction. So keep them about that hip width apart. Keep the spine grounded, but we're just rolling the knees around from the hip joints. It's all right if your tailbone moves around a bit. That's actually a great little lower back massage. Nothing too quick here either. Slow and mindful. Now, we should be still going clockwise. If you have already swapped, feel free to freestyle it. Otherwise, we're going to go anti-clockwise. This might feel a little more abnormal here. Notice how the lower back is receiving this motion. It's a great one to do morning and or night. One more big breath in. Keep moving the legs. And then hugging those knees in, we're going to lift the chin and chest up, curling to a big ball. And then ground the head and shoulders, ground the feet to the mat. We're going to do a little mindfulness here from this position into a hip bridge. So bring your hands on top of your lower abdomen. So you could almost form a diamond shape. Imagine your sacral chakra, if you're familiar with that. We are going to be surrounding that sacral chakra and it's going to be in between our thumbs there. Fingers are pointing down towards the base chakra. So from here, just position the hands comfortably. We're going to tuck the shoulder blades underneath us a little bit and the feet are grounded about hip width apart. So from here, we're going to just start to tilt the hips forwards and backwards. And the reason we're doing this is we want to create spinal movement in the sacral area. So if we're tilting our hips behind us, we should be able to create a bit of a gap underneath your lower back. So you should feel that there's air or there's space behind you there. And that is a great tilt. Then exhale, tilting the other way as though you're curling the pelvis towards the ceiling. So keep exaggerating that motion. Close your eyes. If anyone's around you, just, if you can't see them, they can't see you. This shouldn't be an awkward thing anyway. It's a natural movement. Okay, now we're going to create this into that hip bridge that I mentioned. So tilt your pelvis so that your tailbone is really trying to tilt behind you. Form that gap behind your back. Then we're going to round it forwards. Start to lift the tailbone off of the mat. We're pressing into the heels here. So you should be able to lift your toes up. Start to keep lifting the hips. Your lower back and middle back will rise. Feel free to keep the elbows grounded and let the hands just start to slide either side of the hips the higher you go. Squeezing through the glutes here, not the lower back. So really important to keep that in mind. Quads are also working, which is the top of our legs, and the hamstrings are switching on here. We're going to roll it back down now. So notice if your chest is nice and high as well, we're going to start to lower the ribs individually and vertebrae. Eyes closed here. Visualize every vertebrae just rolling against the next, almost like dominoes. Allow the pelvis to tilt behind you, create that spinal gap in the lumbar area, the lower back. Come back into that bridge. So slowly and mindfully rolling up. And you can, over time, make it a little bit quicker as you have that awareness. So rolling back down if you're up. Control it, keep the pelvis tilting forwards until that lower back touches the ground. I used to have minimal movement here too, so it pays to do this. All right, I'm going to do one more. Curling up off of your mat, press through the heels. Remember, this is going to protect the knees, long spine, long neck. Exhale, lowering back down in your own time. Imagine every vertebrae. Lovely. Once you do get down, we're going to hug our right knee in with both hands. Straighten your left leg out long. We're going to hold our left hand on the outer edge of your knee. Right arm can come out shoulder height. So look over that right hand. We're going to then bring that right knee to the left side of your mat. And it's okay if your shoulder lifts here. Allow your body to just soften into this twist. If your foot's hanging in the air, try and drop it down to the mat. So everyone's different. We're all going to feel this in different areas. You might feel it in your chest along that right side. You might feel it in your hip or your glutes on the right side. Or maybe you could just feel it throughout the spine and it's just tight. Maybe you feel it elsewhere. Just tune into that. Breathe deeply to release any tension that no longer needs to be there. And close the eyes. And we're going to come back onto the spine. So brace the core before you move. You should feel everything switch on. We're going to roll it back. We're going to have both knees into the chest. And lengthening the right leg out long, holding onto that left knee. Adjust the spine, make sure you're comfortable. Left arm's going to come out shoulder height then, or just out to your left side, wherever you've got space. Right hand holds onto the outer edge of that left knee. Bring the knee across to your right side. And as you do that, turn your gaze over to the left. Remember to relax that left leg. Not fighting the pose, not forcing it. Just breathing through it with love, attention, and gratitude for what it can and continues to do for us. Roll back onto the spine then. So take your time, brace the core before moving. If you want to do one more big cuddle with the knees into the chest, do that. Big squeeze. Brace the core as you do lengthen your legs out one at a time, or feel free to do both. This is where we can pop our jumpers or blankets or your eye pillow on. So doing that now, settling yourself in, widening your feet to about the width of your mat, and that just helps the ankles roll out and the glutes relax. It's going to create maybe a little bit of a natural curve through the lower back here, which is what we want. Hands by our sides, shoulder blades tucked underneath, and our arms are about 45 degrees away from the body, palms facing upwards here. Once we're there, then I'm going to take a deep breath in through the nose, side out through the mouth. Feel the body become heavy. Inhale again. Side out. You can do that one more time. Biggest breath, yeah. Inhale all the way, fill the belly. Side out. Now come back to your natural breath. And just finding complete stillness and comfort within. I'm going to leave you in silence for a moment, guide you through a mini meditation. So as you lie where you are, not moving an inch, your only movement comes from your breath that is natural and effortless. I'd love you to stay lying down for your complete meditation. However, if you'd like to sit, you're welcome to. Mind is often busy. There's always a thought running by. There's always going to be distractions around us, whether it's coming from within ourselves, such as a thought, or more externally from distractions around you. Perhaps you live on a busy road. Maybe you have kids in the background or even animals. The idea here is to not read into such things. For example, if a car drives past, acknowledge what it is and then let it go with the breath, as does that same thought. And then you come back to almost this thought of nothingness. I often say this in my yoga classes. Allow yourself to repeat this affirmation silently. I think of nothing. I think of nothing. I think of nothing. Hearing that beautiful sound until it fades. as the silence creeps in, also begin to welcome other sounds, other feelings around you. Staying lying down if you are, but slowly begin to perhaps wriggle the fingers and the toes. Take a deeper breath. Bending through the elbows maybe, moving the wrists. If you're lying down, it's nice to take a big arm reach over your head like you're taking a big morning stretch. As you do that, point the toes, squeeze the glutes, and then hugging the knees back into the chest, slowly, one at a time. Knowing that you lying down is still in the right position, there's no need to rush into a seated pose. If you are ready to take the next step, simply roll onto your right hand side and lay there for a moment. Physically and mentally preparing yourself to rise up into our initial cross-legged seated position. Making your way there now if you're not already there. And this is where we are going to find our essential oil. So if you have one nearby, just grab that. I have Console today, doTERRA one. I have it in a roller bottle. It's important that it's diluted so it's not too strong. It's not going to burn you or anything because these are really potent oils. So I'm rolling a bit on my hand. It's diluted with coconut oil already. I'm going to rub them together. Smell it already. Mine, in this one, it smells of ylang ylang, frankincense, sandalwood, rose, very beautiful, earthy but floral notes there. So as always, in my classes, we're going to take 3 big breaths. We bring the hands up to the face as we breathe in through the nose, and then we bring the hands down to the heart to breathe out through the mouth. So it's a sigh. So let's do that now. Bring the hands up to the face. You can cup the hands or just hover them if you like. Breathe in through the nose. Hands to the heart, sigh it out. Again, inhale. Sigh. Biggest breath in. Slow but deep sigh out. With my hands still in prayer pose, meeting the thumbs to the third eye. With my thumbs at my third eye, my thoughts are pure and clear. With my thumbs to my lips, my speech is pure and clear. And with my thumbs to my chest, my heart is pure and clear. Slightly bowing your head down to your hands even further. Taking a moment to give yourself thanks for this self-care time. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it's truly going to help you. And Namaste. I hope you feel bliss and wonderful. Bye.